www.ogskiradio.com, broadcasting live from the Loft, downtown Los Angeles.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to DJ Havoc. That's DJ Havoc.
Yeah,
LB.
he over there dropping some shits.
Yeah, man, having us out here, having everybody out here. This is a dope-ass location, everything about this.
Tony Hasbro, this is my boy's spot, man. I didn't know you guys were going to be here.
Yeah, let's get into that part of it. How we landed this interview, Doug.
Well, I just walked, I came here to talk to my boy Tony because, I used to do it for music with Owen here. And me and Tony just got it, became real close friends right after it, And I came here to talk to him about some other business. And I walk in, I see Havoc, and then I see my boy Luda. And I'm like, I see you guys. I'm like, what the hell's going on in here? And so I'm,
It's actually dope, though, because the first thing I asked you, I'm like, hey, you're spinning, dog? And you were that, so
right,
it's pretty
right.
dope. And I'm like, well, then it's actually dope because usually you're working your ass off, holding it down, performances, instrumentals, all that good stuff. So we're able to chop it up with you, you know what I mean?
I'm that guy that sits in the back.
Straight up. How long you been DJing for?
Oh, man, I've been DJing, since high school. That's like, 85, 80, rest in peace, my boy Andre McCormick. He actually, he told me there was going to be a big fight after school. He said, don't go to the fight, come to my house, and we're going to DJ. And I went to his house, and I watched one of the smoothest DJs ever in my life. And
what kind of music was he cutting up back then?
Oh, well, we was from the crew, Rockberry crew. So just put that in your head, L.A. Dream Team.
Yeah.
This is in the '80s, so you got all the music that was cutting in the '80s, but he was just so smooth with it, and so he taught me basically the elements of DJing. I've been around it, but it wasn't like inbreaded in yet. But being with this cat for the time not going to the fight, and being with him, so I rest in peace, Andre McCormick. I bless him for it.
What's the first vinyl you remember buying? It might not be the first, but from what your memory is.
My first vinyl see, this is the thing. I always had a lot of records at my house, and then when I started hanging, me and J-Ro started hanging out a lot more. J-Ro from the Alcoholics, name dropping. I used to go with him all the way up to Loud Records, and I used to always get free records, because they had so many demos. And I was that DJ that played the stuff that was on the B-sides of records.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a first record I bought. It was just records I had that were different, like Divine Styler, Saying Nothing. When I dropped that in the Valley, everybody turned around and was like, what the fuck is that?
Damn.
So a record like that was more like one of my first, because I'm not going to say I didn't buy records, but I can't remember what was that first Impact record.
That's cool. So let's go back to what records were in the house then.
Oh, of course, the Michael Jacksons, the Prince, the Luther Vandrosses, Mary J, the Donna Rosses. We had all those type of records. There was a time when I was a little kid for my birthday. I remember my grandma. We sat in my grandmother's kitchen. This is back in Sioux City, Iowa, and we just played 45s. She had a stack of 45s. So I've been around music all my life. My dad, he was a classical jazz musician. He went to school at Juilliard. He was taught there classically, and I never knew him, but it was in my DNA somewhere. I mean, when
did you find that out, or how did you find that out?
Well, I had always knew it all my life. He was around a person. I just, sometimes you just don't want to sometimes meet your creator, part of your creation, and it's that little family stuff going on. But then we started trying to. This is the only part I regret. We started trying to meet for the first time, eye to eye, because he left when I was 2. So when we was trying to hook that up, he passed away. So the first time I got to meet my dad and know about all these different stories on the music side of my dad when I seen him in his coffin.
Oh, wow.
And, it's heavy, but at the same time, I got to know these people or meet these other people from the music side of him, and they was telling me different stuff. How my dad was musically, and I was like, damn. So sometimes I guess that's where I get some of the shit, besides from my, grandparents, my grandma and them. But let's get to something else.
DJ. So then DJing, but then you start producing. When did that transition come about? And what made that transition?
Well, we had a crew up where I lived at. and it was my older homies, and they needed somebody to make some beats for them. So we would go to the studio, and we would pay the engineer to make the beat. I would give him a sample, and I would let him make the beat. So I was like, well, shit, I got to cut that out because I'm paying them too much money. So I started learning how to make beats or whatever, and it just came about natural. Once again, we didn't have manuals, we didn't have YouTube tutorials and shit. Yeah. You just had a machine in front of you, and you just started, okay, this is that. Yeah. So one of my favorite drum machines that got me, I wanted to do beats forever, was the SB1200.
Okay.
The first time I seen it, it was the SB12, which was at DJ Pooh's house.
Oh, shit.
And I hit the pads on it, right? And it was King T's bass.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh, my fucking Lord. And I'm there with J-Ro, and King T's in the other room, I believe. And, so I'm hitting the pads, and Pooh come in there, and he's like, hey, man, the Laker game is on. Come on, let's go in here, But I'm like, I need this drum machine.
Oh, shit.
So when I got that drum machine, that lit the fire, and it was like, yeah, I want to make beats, too, but make them as a DJ. You know what I'm saying? What would the DJ do with a drum machine?
Rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol. Well, this is something new I'm doing. I'm doing these types of mixtapes or special edition records. What it is, the Rubbing Alcohol volumes, and I have 4 of them out right now. The 1, 2, and 3, those are actual songs from different artists that I take, and I DJ their song personally, for the 3 minutes. And then, it's that one song. I don't blend it into another song.
Okay.
So, but I do it like if I'm DJing a party, and this is where I would cut this song at a party.
Oh, shit.
With all kind of little drops and horns, whatever. But, that's what I would want to do. So I do that with the volume records. Now, I have the other one, which is a special edition record, where it's just an artist or a group. And it's just their vocals with my production, my beats behind it.
How many tracks will you do on those?
On the one I just did with the young man named Familiar that passed away, rest in peace, last January 2019. I got his vocals from his manager, and it was his last Pro Tools sessions, and he sent me, about 10 songs, 10, 12 songs. I picked 8 out of there.
Okay.
And on this edition, and I did Rubbing Alcohol featuring Rubbing Alcohol and Dead Broke Entertainment featuring Familiar, the voice edition. And understand the voice edition because he's not here no more, but his voice is still here. So I'm working on a new one right now.
Where could they find these at?
Oh, you can find them on DatPiff and SoundCloud right now. Just type in Rubbing Alcohol, and it's spelled different alcohol than you think. It's ALKOHOL. Like, get it like the Alcoholics.
Yeah.
So that's a little shout out to my boys. That's my brothers. We all grew up together.
Yeah, that's where obviously the Likwit Crew affiliation was, because growing up, like you were saying, you grew up with J-Ro and
me and J-Ro, I could throw a rock to his house.
So then, when can we look for the next one dropping?
The next Rubbing Alcohol, I'm actually in production of it right now.
What are we looking at? What's the production looking on that?
Well, actually, you know what? I just started yesterday. I actually just roughed out the first 2 songs. I'm waiting for the rest of the vocals to come from Jism, because he's going to send me about 10 more songs. And then I'm going to pick out of those 10, maybe do all 10, or maybe another 8, but it's going to be ready. And I try to get them ready, so we think it was February, maybe another 420, because the first one last year came out in 420.
All right, yeah, it's about lining up for this year.
Yeah, I try to, what I want to do with this record series, I want to try to put out 4 a year.
Okay.
With production or the DJ and whatever it is. I know I'm so particular. I gotta have it right. I can't just throw it out there. I gotta, I'll sit on the fucking edit like 100 million minutes.
Yeah, definitely got to put a time frame on that.
You know what I'm saying?
Want to thank you, Manny. Shout out before we cut out.
Hey, you know what? I want to shout out Husky Radio, because you guys, the first time I met you guys are so cool. I remember DJing there, was like, dope. This is, I'll always watch this every now and then on Facebook and the thing, and meeting the guys in the neighborhood. So I want to shout out y'all first. Shout out, of course, the whole Likwit crew, the Antics crew. Shout out my daughter, because that's my Valentine. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no Valentines in 19 years except for her.
Those are the best ones, bro.
Shout out my family and everybody, and like I said, shout out hip hop. That's what we do it for. And smoke one, drink one.
OG Husky Radio. Stay posted. More interviews to come.
Yes, sir.